So remember down in Jacksonville at Super Bowl 39, the Eagles could not get by Brady, Belichick, and the Patriots to win the Lombardi Trophy there, Boomer. But this is a different Eagles team, and the underdogs have been barking in these playoffs. Attitude about this squad now.
Well, you know, first and foremost,
Peterson and staff.
Well, I think first and foremost, it starts with the defensive line. The defensive line, especially at home, have been so dominant. They rotate 8 guys in and out of there, and Fletcher Cox has been a monster in the middle of that defense. They play that wide 9 defense, and they're wide on the edges, and that's why Chris Long and Derek Barnett have been so good. They don't care about mobile quarterbacks because, you know what, Tom Brady isn't all that mobile anyway. So they're just going to lay their ears back, and it's all about pressuring the opposing quarterback. As far as Nick Foles is concerned, he's got a head coach and an offensive coordinator. Both were backup quarterbacks for the predominant portions of their career. They know what it's like to be that in big spots, especially Frank Reich as offensive coordinator. They will not take the pedal off the metal, especially if this game's close in the fourth quarter. I believe Doug Peterson will stay aggressive.
Oh, very good. You know, well, a couple things. You know, Nick Foles, I think what they've done as a coaching staff, it takes a while to find out really who he is, the backup quarterback. You know, he's not getting the practice reps and everything. So in these 5 games, as you watch them and you put them together, and especially last week against the Minnesota Vikings, when you watch them play, you go, they found it. After all this practice, you know, and he didn't practice during the preseason, so they didn't have a great feel for what he was going to do. They found the offense that fits him and what he's doing well. And you can see it when he plays when you watch Nick Foles. I mean, he was so confident in the second half against the Atlanta Falcons and the whole game against Minnesota. Confident, relaxed, threw the ball great, and he was aggressive in his play, his decisions, throwing the football down the field. So that's the big thing that they've done as a coaching staff. They got their backup quarterback comfortable and playing as well as he can play.
I like the underdog role. I like this underdog role.
Do that again for me.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you why I like this underdog role.
Just watch that pen in there.
There you go, now the pen in the hand.
It's all over the place.
His blue eyes. I'm telling y'all got to cut this mess out. I'm telling y'all.
What do you got?
You talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. You talk about the underdog role. Listen, this is the role majority of my career I played, the underdog role. You can't win. You can't go beat these guys. I want to clue you guys into something. You talk about the one ingredient. How do you uncode the New England Patriots?
Right.
How do you uncode them? There's never been a player that the New England Patriots has released that's played them in the Super Bowl the following year.
Okay.
You bring LeGarrette Blount from New England system. You bring Chris Long from New England system.
Right.
When you're sitting in that locker, when you're sitting in that meeting room now, and you're Jim Schwartz, and you're talking to Chris Long about what's the one thing about New England's defense? What's the one thing about New England's offense?
Right.
You go on the flip side. LeGarrette Blount knows things that's inside that code that has never been broken.
So check this out. Boomer last week talked about needing to have, as a team, a PhD to deal with New England, even if you know what's coming.
This is the inside to that. And I'm telling you, one thing that I think LeGarrette brings differently is that you talk about Fletcher Cox. I want you to go back to last year's Super Bowl. There was 5 sacks in that Super Bowl. Jared Grady had 3 himself.
Right.
You talk about a dominant presence like Fletcher Cox that can penetrate up the middle and disrupt Tom Brady. But what Blunt knows, right, not only pass protections, but where Brady checks out from and all this. So he's going in the defensive meeting room and even sitting in the defensive meeting room.
I agree with you to some, because the only problem is the Patriots, okay, they got the test and they got the answers to the test, but the problem is there's 7 answers when you're talking about the Patriots, and they showed that against Jacksonville. They played 3 different styles of defense. This one didn't work, so let's go to another one. The offense dramatically changed from one half to the other, so that makes it tough. Now, let me just answer this. Everybody wants to know what, JB? Can the Eagles do it? And can they keep the game close and find a way not to fold under pressure? But I think it's not pressure. I think it's just the goodness of the other team, talking about the Patriots. With Jim Schwartz being the defensive coordinator, Ray Lewis, I don't think he'll lose his courage because that's not his style. And Doug Peterson has shown us in 2 playoff games, man, he's ready to go. So I think they'll make the big decision.
So here's a scenario. Eagles up by 7. They had the ball on their own 20 late in the fourth.
Yes.
Many teams have been reluctant to, if you will, go for the kill. Will that be the case with the Eagles, attitude-wise?
I think Phil just said it. I think Doug Peterson has really showed that he will be aggressive.
But what about the players?
Oh, I think they will.
have no
They're
choice.
ready to roll. They're ready to roll right now.
Choice, JB.
And, you know, most people would say, you know, leave it in your defense's hands. Forget that. Do not leave it in your defense's hands, because we have seen time and again that Tom Brady will bring a team back, especially late in the fourth quarter. Here's the thing, the other thing that never gets talked about the Patriots, and all the games I've ever done, and I know you've done over 80 of their games, their special teams are truly special. It is field position. And Belichick uses that to his advantage because he's got a left-footed punter. He loves the left-footed punter. He's got high-paid guys on the special teams specifically for game situations. And nobody ever really talks about it, but to me, that's always a hidden yardage aspect to their game.
Great point.
In this Eagles segment now, what about the Eagles? Are they comparably equipped attitude-wise, determination-wise?
It's the mentalities that they bring into this game that gives them a chance to really pull this off.
And the mentality they bring is what?
LeGarrette Blount.
Who else?
Jay Ajayi.
Okay.
Oh,
man.
I don't like their chances of being a power running team against this Patriots defense.
You don't have to like their chances, but that switch up in this type of game, Jacksonville last week exposed Matt Patricia's defense by doing what? He kept them off balance at all times. That's the one thing the Eagles give you in this type of game.
You know why they got a chance, guys? Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Malcolm Jenkins, Chris Long. They got some really top-end players, and they all want to be here. They expected to be here, and they're here with their backup quarterback, and that's what it's going to come down to. Can Nick Foles do what he's done the last 2 games?
I agree with all that.